Conor as a fighter, everybody knows he is a counter striker. He waits for you to attack, and he takes a little step back, little step to the side, and he usually launches a left hand, and he's pretty accurate, and he tags you, and he now puts you on your heels. And the real question for Poirier is, well, Poirier is a come-forward attack fighter. That's when he's successful. When Poirier is going backwards, he's not near as successful. When he's coming forward, he is a successful fighter. So Poirier, in my opinion, has got to use basically what we call the 3 technique, as far as don't just throw the shots and go forward. Utilize feints, get him to try to counter off of the feints or just start to do it, and then come with your attack. He's going to have to vary those attacks to get past the counter striking of Conor. Conor is probably the best counter striker there is in MMA, as far as the way he does it and how effective he is and how accurate he is. If Dustin comes forward like he does when he's, against Justin Gaethje or Eddie Alvarez or even Dan Hooker in the later rounds, and is coming forward in the beginning with Conor, I see Conor landing a counter strike, kind of hurting him. And I think we're going into that same element that happened in the first fight. I think Conor is the favorite, but obviously both guys can win at this. And here's the flip side. You're going to say, if Dustin Poirier is going to win, it's going to be towards the later rounds. Dustin has got a gas tank. A lot of people say that Conor doesn't have a gas tank. I don't think that's true. I do think that Conor has had problems in the past. I think he had a problem when he fought Nate Diaz the first time, and he did gas, and it was carrying more weight. And, I don't know about what he did training wise or anything, but he did gas. I did his second fight against Nate Diaz. And in that fight, 3rd round, I believe it was, a lot of people thought he was gassing. Well, he was sucking air because he was getting hit to the body a lot. Nate was eating his body up, and I don't care who you are, that'll take the air out of you, and you're going to start to, slow down and have problems. But the one thing, if you watch it, when that round ended, I walked him back as I'm looking at him. And by the time the next round started, he was good, which is telling you he's in shape. And he carried on throughout that fight and ended up winning the fight. So I think that he is taking care of that gas tank problem. What happened with Khabib, people can look and say, well, it looked like he slowed down there. Everybody seems to slow down with Khabib. That went into the 4th round. So I don't think that Conor is going to have a problem with his gas tank, but I do think that as the fight goes on, just confidence in everything, because no doubt Dustin has to get past the fact that he knows he got beat by the same guy 6 years ago. I think Conor is the favorite. I think he should be the favorite. But I do think that Dustin Poirier has all the skills in the world, and it only takes one shot to change a fight. I think he's got all the skills in the world to possibly pull an upset in this fight.
There is no doubt he has the skills to upset Conor. And the other thing as well, I watched that first fight several times now in the last probably week and a half. Both of them are completely different fighters. Yeah. They're not even the same person. I mean, like, when I'm watching this, they're not even the same people that were in that cage. So if you look back, Dustin shouldn't even be thinking about that, even though he will be, even though I'm sure that will be in the back of his mind somewhere, through your head, hidden in the cobwebs way in the back. He will think about that. But after watching that fight, in reality, he shouldn't. He's not that guy anymore. I'm watching that fight, and I'm like, there's a ton of wasted movement on Dustin's part. You could tell there's a little bit of lack of confidence when things weren't working right away in the first round, the first couple exchanges. He was throwing kind of like kicks and punches from angles that you could tell he felt uncomfortable. He wanted to get in and out of in situations that he didn't need to. He was throwing kicks while his head was down just to get out of the way as a distraction. It wasn't even... That's not what you're going to see on Saturday night. You are not going to see that Dustin Poirier at all. You're going to see a more confident. You're going to see someone who believes in the things that he has learned at ATT now. He is going to be a completely different fighter in this fight. I also think that there will be moments and sections of this fight, if Dustin was smart, that he would fight him against the cage, knees, elbows, that type of thing, to start slowing Conor down in the stand-up. We know, and I know from experience, that when you press people against the cage, you press them against, and you're making them work, good strikers, people that have heavy hands, the best thing to do is clinch them, work them against the fence, knees, elbows, make all that blood. Yeah, make all that blood rush to their shoulders and their arms. Make them heavy. Things don't pop out as much and as fast and as frequently as they will if you let them stay fresh. Look, Mike Brown is one of probably the best coaches, I think, out there. And I was watching that, a little bit of that 24/7 the other night, and he sounds very confident, not because he's his coach. He's just like, look, Dustin as a human being is a completely different person. And I could not agree with you anymore. Being around him when he was fighting at 145 when I was training with Frankie, and listening to him talk then, and then casually in passing, at certain times in our career, passing and talking to him then, versus when I saw him at one of the Bellator events, talking to him. He's a grown ass man now. Like, he is someone you could tell that his whole life and his focus is this. In the beginning, I think it was more of a figuring out, and he is not the same guy. And then Mike Brown was saying, he's completely different in terms of his durability. From cutting to 145 is completely different. At 55, he's proven. You look at the Hooker fight, he took a lot of damage in that fight. He is durable. Extremely durable.
Think of that second round. That second round was possibly the round of the year.
Yeah.
It was that good. And man, he took a lot of shots and was durable as hell.
But here's the thing. And what people need to remember and understand, when you're taking those kind of shots, it makes you tired. It's like playing a video game. If you guys are playing Street Fighter and every time you get hit, your power level goes down, that's real life shit. It really happens. It happens like that. You get hit with a clean right hand. All of a sudden your energy level goes down. You get hit to the body. Energy goes way down. Couple leg kicks. That you start stressing out at the fact that you're getting hit with clean shots. And this is a 3-round or a 5-round fight. And I've got to last the rest of this fight with the amount of energy I have left. And so that's going through your mind as well. And then that builds up to more anxiety of like, man, this hurts. Every time something hits you, it hurts. It's taking my wind. It's taking my energy. You start thinking about that and putting more pressure on yourself to push the pace, or to get in the grill, to not take these shots, to be more defensive, whatever it is. But Dustin Poirier has figured it out. I mean, this to me is going to be a completely different fight. And when I went back and watched that fight, John, I'm like, these guys are not even the same people anymore. They're not, And so when people were going, well, Dustin's going to get sparked. No. And Dustin, I think, is a lot better now on the ground than he was back then as well. Let's not forget that he was probably one of the closest guys to ever almost catch Khabib in a submission. That arm and guillotine was tight to the point where Khabib had to roll to his side to even get out. And when you start rolling to your side, that means I'm willing to give up the position to mount or whatever it is for you to come on top so I can be free. To relieve the pressure and so I can get free. Look, I'm not sleeping on him at all. I think when they announced this and it was going to happen, I'm like, he's going to walk. I think Conor's going to beat him pretty easily like he did the first time. Now, after the last 3 weeks of me doing the research and looking over fights and seeing what's going on, nope. I'm not sleeping on this at all. I've got Dustin. I got this fight going into probably the 4th. Conor may catch him, but I could also see Dustin catching him with some sort of arm and guillotine. Yeah, all he's got to do is get Conor's head down. If he can do that, he starts pulling him down. And I know I don't want to be mean and rude, but Conor has a hard time dealing with being choked. And he did it with the Nate thing and he did it with the Khabib thing. He has a hard time when you're exhausted. If you're not used to being put in those positions and learning how to relax in the jiu-jitsu positions, you tend to panic a little bit, and sometimes the taps will come out. They come out pretty fast when you're exhausted. So I think after watching that 24/7 and listening to Mike Brown and the conversation from him and listening to a little bit of what Dustin said, they're going to make this an MMA fight. This isn't going to be a stand-up fight, not just strictly stand-up. They're going to mix this shit up. And if they do that, they're going to have a lot of success.
Yeah, one of the things that in my opinion, if Dustin can take and crush the distance into just boxing distance, it's not that Conor is very good with his stand-up. But if he can get closer to that box, it takes away a lot of those kicks that Conor likes to land. He likes that little toe, to the abdomen. He likes to do the spinning kicks. And it also puts Dustin closer to a position to clinch up, be the MMA fighter, push him to the cage, throw some knees, slow him down, get his arms heavy. If he's able to do that, he's got a good chance of winning the fight.